Hye Kyo was about to give up. But Lee Min-ho saved their relationship in the most unexpected way. Welcome back to K-Drama Haven, where fairy tales aren't just scripted, they're lived. Today's story is one that will stop your heart, rewind your memories, and make you believe in second chances again. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications, because what happened between Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo almost never happened at all. This is the love story that nearly ended, until one moment changed everything. A silent goodbye. It began quietly, too quietly. For months, fans noticed something off. Fewer sightings, no matching posts. The usually sparkling smiles between Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho began to fade into vague captions and polite appearances. Behind the scenes, the truth was unraveling. Hye Kyo, the queen of Korean drama elegance, had reached a silent breaking point. A moment no one ever expected from a woman so poised, so strong. She had begun to ask herself questions she never wanted to answer. Maybe we're just from two different worlds, she had told a close friend during a private late-night call. Maybe this time, love just isn't enough. There were tears. Not in public, not for the world to see. But in dressing rooms between shoots. In the quiet of her car. In the silence of empty hotel rooms after red carpet events. She was slipping away. The final letter. One day, in a villa tucked away in the hills of Jeju, Hye Kyo packed her bags. There was no dramatic fight. No slam doors. Just a handwritten note, carefully placed on the edge of the piano Lee Min-ho had gifted her. The letter was never meant for public eyes. But according to a source close to the couple, it said this. You once told me I made you believe in fate. I don't know if fate is enough anymore. Maybe you need someone lighter, freer, someone who isn't afraid of tomorrow. I'm sorry I couldn't be that. I love you. That will never change. She folded it, left it, walked out. And with that, the story the world had rooted for was over. Or so we thought. The night that changed everything. Lee Min-ho had just returned from a fan meeting in Thailand when he saw the note. He didn't move. He didn't speak. He simply read it twice and then stared at the space where her shoes used to be. The silence screamed louder than any fight. For 2 days no one heard from him. He turned off his phone, cancelled his schedule, locked himself inside the Jeju villa. Those closest to him said he didn't eat, didn't sleep. He played the piano in the dark until the early hours. Over and over again. The same song, the one he had written for her birthday. The one they danced to in Paris under the soft lights of the Seine. It was over, until a voice broke through. The call that never came. He waited, hoping she'd call, hoping she'd change her mind. But the phone never rang. So he made a decision that would change everything. He flew to New York. Not for a show, not for a shoot, but to find her. Because she had quietly escaped to Manhattan, trying to bury her pain in city lights and museum walls. He didn't alert the press. He didn't tell his team. He simply boarded the next flight and whispered to himself one line. You don't give up on the person who made you believe in love again. The museum miracle. It was raining in New York. The kind of cinematic drizzle that clings to your skin and mirrors your mood. She was at the Met, standing alone before a painting she once told him she loved. It was a quiet gallery, barely any tourists around. She wore a long beige coat and no makeup. Just the raw, breathtaking beauty that made the world fall in love with her. And then she heard a voice behind her. I remember you said this painting reminded you of us. She froze, turned. There he was. No bodyguards, no flashing lights. Just him, drenched in rain, holding the same umbrella they once shared on a night in Tokyo when neither of them could sleep. She didn't speak. Neither did he. Until he took a step closer and said, You said maybe love isn't enough. But you're wrong. Love is everything. And I'm not walking away. She cried. Right there. In the middle of the museum. Surrounded by centuries of art. She found the man who refused to become a memory. He reached into his coat pocket. and pulled out a ring box. Second chances, first promises. It wasn't a proposal. Not yet. But it was a promise. When you're ready. When we're ready. This will be waiting. Until then, let's write a new story. One without endings. She nodded. And for the first time in months she smiled. The world finds out. The world didn't learn about the reunion through gossip or leaks. They told the story themselves. One picture. Posted on both their Instagram accounts at the exact same time. A blurry, beautiful photo of their hands intertwined, holding the ring box, with one caption. We found our way back. The internet broke. Fans wept. Celebrities commented. Hashtags trended for days. People weren't just excited. They were moved. Because in a world where love is so easily lost, this story proved something rare. Real love can find its way back. Even when all hope seems gone. Back in Korea. Stronger than ever. Upon returning to Korea, Lee Min-ho and Hye Kyo stepped into the spotlight again. Not as two individuals but as a team. Their first appearance was at a charity gala, where they walked the carpet hand in hand. When asked by reporters about their status, Lee Min-ho simply smiled and said, "We're happy. That's all that matters." And Hye Kyo added quietly, "Sometimes you have to lose something to realize it was everything. I'm just grateful we got another chance. We're not the same people anymore." The fight that nearly tore them apart again. It's been 4 months since the Met Museum moment. 4 months since that blurry photo of their intertwined hands broke the internet. Since fans across the globe whispered the word forever every time they saw their names together. But what the world didn't know was that behind the quiet smiles and red carpet photos, Hye Kyo and Lee Min-ho were facing a new chapter. One far more difficult than any goodbye. Different dreams, same love. They were in Seoul now, together but still finding their rhythm. Sharing a house in Hanamdong, tucked away in the hills above the city. But coexisting didn't come easy. Hye Kyo had signed on to produce her first drama, a passion project based on her own life, something vulnerable and raw. Lee Min-ho, on the other hand, was preparing for a Hollywood debut. Two worlds. Upat. And for the first time, their dreams began to pull them in opposite directions. One night, as the rain tapped softly against the kitchen window, Hye Kyo put down her tea and said quietly, "You're leaving for 6 months. And I'm about to enter the hardest season of my career. What if we're just delaying the end?" Lee Min-ho froze. He had been rehearsing lines for his upcoming role, but nothing in the script could have prepared him for that. "Don't say that." His voice cracked. "We fought too hard to get here." She looked up, eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Then fight with me now. Not just for the fairy tale, but for the hard, messy in-between. The storm before the stillness." The fight that followed was quiet. No shouting. Just aching truths. She told him she was tired of pretending everything was perfect when her heart was drowning in doubt. He told her he couldn't give up the role that would finally break him into global stardom. They sat across from each other at the long dining table in silence. The ring box still sat there, untouched, a reminder of what could be. And what could disappear again. The note on the door. 3 days passed. No words. Just movements, work, silence, avoidance. Then, on the 3rd morning, Lee Min-ho found another note. Taped to the front door. Not from her. But from their housekeeper. "They say the strongest hearts still break. But I've never seen two people more afraid of how much they love each other. Please don't let fear speak louder than your hearts." That note changed everything. A love story that almost ended. This is more than a comeback. This is a resurrection. They could have walked away. The world would have understood. But instead they chose to fight. To fly across oceans. To show up in the rain. To listen to the silence between heartbeats and say, "No, we're not done." So if you're watching this and you've ever doubted love, remember this story. Hye Kyo was about to give up. But Lee Min-ho saved their relationship. And maybe he saved them both. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to K-Drama Haven, and drop a comment below. Do you believe in second chances like this? Until next time, keep believing in the stories that make your heart race, because sometimes the best love stories are the ones that almost didn't happen.